for those of you who may have forgotten, I'm Mrs. B. I'm student teaching today. That's why we have the camera on in the back. Its only purpose is to be recording me. So I'm going to be sharing this with my professor, and this will not be anything that's shared with anyone else. So I promise. I pinky promise, all the promises. So let's get started. A few of you were not here last week, and I'm going to do a quick recap of our lesson that will help everyone. So we're starting out with painting, which is a lot of fun. Everyone here should be embracing their inner child and enjoying yourself, mixing the primary color of choice, right? And we're going to use a little bit of white and a little bit of black to make multiple color options for our monochromatic color scheme. Most of us have finished that. So soon I'm going to go on to our next lesson. But at this time, while you're working and I'm talking, keep in mind that we don't want to muddy the colors that we've already put onto the canvas or the cardboard. Okay, so if you've already covered your entire surface and you liked where you were at, stop. Just chill, because knowing when to stop is a big part of the art making process, right? Okay, so to begin with, we've done monochromatic colors. Let's see, I'm going to wait until I can move this slide, but I am going to just touch base with what our intentions are today. So the standards that we're going to be working with are going to help us demonstrate our craftsmanship and artistic technique, right? So part of that is knowing when to stop. Let's see, oh, we've got it up. Okay, so we're good to go. So our next step, for those of you still working, keep working. You're going to be a great example, but I'm going to ask you to stop for 1 second because it looks fantastic, and I don't.
Be honest with me.
I am. No, not at all, not at all. But you're going fast, and I want to make sure you hear this part. So just give me 1 second, okay? All right. So our analogous color is going to be our next color scheme that we're going to be working on. So analogous, like in root word, to like in relationship with. So let's think. We've all chosen one primary color. I see a ton of blues, so I'm going to use that one as an example, but we can talk about all of them. Because what are the three primary colors?
Blue, red, and yellow.
Okay, right? So if we've done blue as our monochromatic color, we've added black and white to it. But now we're going to move on, and we're going to do the analogous color. So blue, what would be another color? Can anyone, just by looking at the chart and the
Turquoise.
Turquoise. Okay, so what would we add to make turquoise?
I got paint on my pants.
Oop, okay, so why don't you go to sink, wash your hands, make sure there's no more paint on your hands, and then grab a paper towel and some water, and if it's still there, we have a stain stick, okay?
Got it.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yellow and white probably.
Okay, so yellow and white. So out of that, we're adding yellow, which is a second primary color. So today, you're going to be choosing and adding one more primary color to create your analogous color scheme, okay?
Okay, so you got it off.
So, for those of you who've chosen blue, what are the two options you could do?
Red.
We've said yellow.
Red.
Red. What's going to happen if we add red?
Purple.
We're going to get purples and violets, okay? We're not going to just get one more color. We're going to get two more colors. We're going to get three more colors. 4, because just like in the monochromatic, you can get a ton of different options, and what that's going to do is add depth to the layers. The important thing is to not get rid of that monochromatic color, like for blue, for the example. Like up here in her painting, she started out with blue. What is the primary color she added?
Yellow.
Yellow. Do you see a ton of yellow there? No, but maybe because of the lighting, you might have seen some highlights. But what colors do you see?
Green.
Greens, okay. But did she cover the entire canvas with green? No, just a little bit. What happened? Does this look flat anymore? Does this look like just a painting?
No.
Starting to get depth, which ties us back to our standard of creating craftsmanship, right? Now we've gone from the kindergarten free painting that we did in the monochromatic, and now we're moving up a little bit, and now we're starting to show mastery in that skill. Okay? So now let's move on to those who chose red as a primary color. What are your options?
Blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow. So what happens if you add blue? What are you going to get? So you're going to get purples and violets. Okay? What happens if you add, what's the other one?
Yellow.
Yellow. What are you going to get?
Oranges.
Oranges. Okay. Yellow. What happens if you add blue? I'm trying to make sure. So those of you who have yellow and you add blue, you're going to get greens. Okay? It's going to help push out some of those colors that yellow naturally have, and it's going to create depth. So we're going to do 15 minutes of work time. Only add one more color. I'm going to be walking around and helping. In addition to knowing all of your colors, you guys each have one of these really awesome boxes of fun found objects and shapes and tools. These right here you can use to kind of cut through this new layer that you're adding in order to kind of create, do you see like here? It almost wipes away the paint so that you can see through it to see your original color. Okay? A cup. You can paint the tip of it and stamp it. Do not pop the bubbles, because if you pop the bubbles, it's not going to work. But you can brush paint on and print it, right? This is us getting back to that playful stage, which is going to allow you to not try to control the painting and allow the painting to be more movable and fluid, because that's what it's all about. Okay, enough of me talking. You guys start working, and I'll just walk around and make sure everyone's on the same page and no one is getting too crazy with covering up everything. So if you don't mind starting the timer for me. Does anyone have any questions before we go?
Yes. So
Go ahead.
We have to get another primary color.
You have to add one more primary color. Yes. We just went over that. No, it does not matter which one. You just only want to choose one, and we're going to work with that one and your original one to make the analogous color. Okay. So you're working on coating your entire surface still?
Take some of your white.
You're still working on blue. You're still working on blue. Okay. Did that make sense to you? Okay, so you're working on the monochromatic. This is fantastic. Look at all those different colors. All right. Did that make sense to you? So right now we're just coating the entire thing. There's no right or wrong. You're just having fun with it, okay? You're getting used to the paint, but you might want to push your sleeves up so you don't get paint on yourself. And I'll come. Oh. Get to add. What color are you going to add?
I think red.
Red.
I paint in this all the time.
You're okay with it? I'm okay with it. What's that?
A little bit of the second primary color.
Yep, and you can mix them around just like you did the monochromatic color. And you can do that too. You, in the art world, we would say have a heavy hand, which is fantastic, but just know when to stop so that you don't cover this all with blue. Or go back with those little rubbery tools and you can cut through them.
Purple color up.
Friends, one more thing about the new tools. You will be in charge of cleaning them up. So if you have blue and you've dipped your sponge in blue, keep it so that someone with a different color does not end up getting the wrong color on their canvas. This is great. This is great.
I wanted purple, not red.
Yep. Well, you can mix purple on your palette.
Yeah,
and
but
then
that's hard, but it's drying really fast.
maybe a little bit more paint.
Yeah, it's black. This is bad, isn't it?
No, it's great. There's no bad. But let's stop there for a second and use some of those new tools. Okay.
So what?
See what happens. Okay. Now stop. Pick a different tool and give yourself time to explore and not overmix. Okay, you're still working on your monochromatic. Yep. You got it. So don't forget, you can mix your colors on your palette so that you can come up, just like you did with the monochromatic to get all the different blues. You can mix the purple or the red and blue to make
What if I want to
purple.
use this to get back to my old color?
Well, over scrub, you can ruin the surface of the cardboard, and it can Just be aware of what you're doing. And you can also add more reds on top of that. Okay? But just
More blue.
sounds like a good idea.
It's all dry looking.
Okay. Remember, you can mix lots of colors on here too if you want different colors. Ooh, that's a really cool. It's kind of almost like now it's lighting up. I was gonna say like a brownish violet color. I'll just let you go. Ooh, I like that. Sorry. It's good. I like it. I wanted to see what would happen. Don't forget you can mix these two colors together on your palette so that it's not just red and blue, that you can get all those purples and stuff.
Get all the paint out of it.
You want, I'm sorry, say that one more time?
This won't get all the paint out of the brush.
Because are you trying to move to a different color?
Yeah.
Well, our first step was to cover the background all with just the monochromatic. So you might want to go a little bit more with the blues. But I'm okay if you don't necessarily cover the entire surface, but if at some point these two colors coat the entire surface, then
I'm
yeah.
gonna put the red over here, and then in the middle it's gonna be purple.
Okay, so but the intentions are to make it have layer, whereas right now you're creating a flat surface. So if you do one layer, I want you to then add stamping and texture on top of it, okay? So just as long as you include that, I think you're okay. If you're really wanting to get the paint out of that, what do you think the best thing you can do besides the cup? Switch out the water. Could you also wash your brush in the sink? Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. Yes, you are making green, but remember, we don't want to overshadow some of this awesome textures you got going on right here. So just keep that in mind and remind yourself. Right now, we are remembering to control ourselves. When we find something that we've done that's great, stop and move on to a different space.
Last time I did painting like this, my dad told me to make something better.
Well, right now, you are doing a fantastic job, and that is all that matters. Just keep coating the surface, and you can mix as many colors as you want. Yep, you're doing great. Oh, look at that. I like that. I love this color right here, too.
Yeah.
Oh, and you got all the little stamps.
It's hard to, I'm gonna get the paint off.
So are you going to mix, oh, you got oranges going on. I was
How
trying to
can you
figure
help
out.
me get the paint off?
Paint off of what? The brush?
Yeah.
Well, our options are the water.
I tried that.
Okay, and what's another way? What do we do at the end of the class
I don't know.
to wash our paintbrushes? What do we do?
Put them under the water.
Yep, in the sink. So go to the sink and do it. If you need to wash something, go to the sink. You're doing great. I'm just trying to keep it so you don't get on your clothes.
My hands need a really good wash.
So what I'm going to suggest for you is to mix more on here and less on here. But I really like that purple color. Does that make sense? Mix more on the palette and less on the canvas.
I mean,
What do you need?
it just doesn't like look good.
It will. Just give it some time. Mix more on there and work on just isolated textures, which you've already got going on, which is going to be great. Give it a minute to dry a little bit. Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
I really like it. I like even how this goes. Oh, I like the greens. You're getting. What's that?
I don't know what else to do.
Ooh, add some more textures. Go play with some of these. Sorry. Play with these. I mean, you don't have to do this one specifically, but you can mix up a color right here, and you can stamp it if you want. You can go and wash that in the sink. There's no reason to try with just a paper towel at this point. All right, you're doing it. Want to cover the whole background. I like that color combination. All right.
Let's go, bruh. It's not coming off.
It's not coming off.
No.
Well, what can we do?
Gotta get some new color.
I would think that would be a great suggestion. Remember, on the second layer, we don't want to mask our first layer, okay? So make sure that you're cutting through with some of the fun tools. But I like all the colors you're creating. All right, keep working, but this is my reminder to everyone, friends. Yes, you can. Friends, this is a reminder.
That would make sense. Maybe save it towards the end because then you'll need to have paper.
Can I please have everyone just give me an ear? You can keep working. Okay.
I can't give
You can't give me an ear. Can you just listen with an ear? Let's make sure that we are covering the entire surface, that we are not over mixing our colors on our canvas themselves, and that we are exploring with these new textures. If anyone is having a hard time with mixing the colors, feel free to ask. I'm right here. And then the next thing is if you see something you like, stop and move to a different space. You have quite a big area to cover. Don't over concentrate. That's part of the critiquing aspect, is looking. And we will have other layers. So give yourself some freedom. Spread out a little bit. We don't want to over concentrate in one space. Are you happy with it? Have you tried any of the fun tools? You should just try one. There's no right or wrong. Yes, you can.
I feel like I'm finished.
Okay. Did you try any of the tools?
Yeah.
Okay. You tried the tools.
I just made a bunch of splashes.
Make sure we're not covering up too much of our background.
I know.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I can't say it enough. This is great. Oh, look at all that splatter.
I just like,
Have you tried any of the tools?
yeah, I used like the blue one to get.
I wonder if, and also, if you want more texture, you can even take like a paper towel. I'm not going to do it on yours, don't worry. But can I use your brush for a second?
Yeah.
What color were you doing with this?
This one just feel off.
You can even just like
I just feel like having a
crinkle it up. Okay. And you can even just like create more texture. So, because even in the square shape, it flattens it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know if you want that or not. If not, I can toss it. All right, we are down to 5 minutes.
That's probably going to time out perfect because then you'll have 5 minutes to explain a little bit of cleanup time and then you'll be done with that. And 10 minutes to clean up. All right, it should time out just right.
Hey, some of my friends I've noticed are kind of like, I don't know what else to do. Even if you just simply crumble up some paper. Can I borrow someone's color? Does anyone have some color in their brush here? Put some, just paint this. Yep. Just give me that right there. Okay. So even with just adding a little bit of the color that you want to add, you can then, guys, watch. You can just create texture. Okay. So the texture right here, where the paint doesn't go, it allows the white to come through. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create little windows from that first layer to peek through so that it's not flat, it's not a flat texture on top of a flat texture. Because paintbrushes have a tendency to create a flat surface. And if you feel like you're done, oh, do you want that? If you don't, I can take it. I was just pointing with it. If you feel like you're done because you've covered your entire surface, you can be done. But what I want you to do is look at the thick paint you have and maybe flatten some of it out, because that's going to end up affecting your next couple layers. So do you see the blobs that you have? Try to see if you can somehow either brush or take a tool and scrape You could even scrape into that wet paint. And you can mix colors on your palette. That's what your palette's all about. Okay, for anyone who is kind of stuck, I was just showing this other group. Even if you crumble up paper and stamp it, do you notice how the white pops through? Because that's the back color. That's what's gonna happen here. It's gonna allow a little bit of your base color, your monochromatic color, to peek through. So you're just creating layers. If you get to a point where you feel like you're done, and you've added all of the yellows and the greens that you want from your analogous color scheme, you can stop. But I would almost ask you if you could try to incorporate a little bit more yellow so it pops a little bit more. Since you use that yellow to create that green. Just like even a little line or... Use your finger. But don't get crazy because a lot of times the little kid in us will want to do it everywhere.
I'm gonna make finger holes.
Remember what is your monochromatic color that you started with? Red? Okay. Remember to add some of that here because right now we're adding a lot of the blue, which is turning purple, and you're coating everything. We want more of the textures. Remember, the paintbrush on paintbrush is going to make it kind of flat and smooth, and we're wanting to build little windows. We want pockets of windows to allow that bottom color to pop up.
I call this one the deep blue sea.
The deep blue sea. Make sure you don't have your paint doesn't look too thick anywhere. No. I like the textures. I think you're good. Perfect. Okay. So did it help letting it wait? You notice how you're making little windows? We want the base color, which is white of this paper, we want it to pop through. If you just brush, you're going to be flat on flat.
This is what I want.
This is perfect. You're doing a great job. I just wanted to make sure that, see right now you're scraping that away, which looks good. It's because you're allowing that other color to pop through, which is perfect.
And then I made this, which is like a fishy.
And I'm trying to make like weight looking.
Yes, that's great. And that will look really like, remember what our ending result? You're going to end up doing another layer on top of this. And so this is just going to be a little bit of texture that's going to pop through that next layer.
Just leave it like this?
Yeah.
I mean,
If that's where you're at and you want.
are you sure? Like, I don't really believe in the fact that adding layers really does anything.
Okay, can you put that down and I'm going to show you. Come here. I don't want to confuse anyone because this has got all the layers. Just do like this, like you're a doctor. You don't want to get anything on anyone. Okay, look at all the different textures. The first one, it's all right here. This is more of the ending result. You're not going to see half of the stuff that you've painted. So you're just creating these patterns, and see how there's painted designs on here. You're going to be doing that for the next layer. So all of what you have is going to be painted on top of. We're just creating that bottom surface. So you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? But yeah, go wash up before you get it on any more of your clothes. All right, friends. It is time for us to now think about what our cleanup looks like. You each have a color-coded number system. This is not the first time you've done this, so I know you know how to follow these directions. We need to finish up where we're at. We have 10 minutes. Make sure you do your assigned job. In addition to your assigned job, remember the tools. And the tools will take time because the next class that comes in, they're not going to want, if they're starting out with blue, and maybe they don't want yellow. So if you have a whole bunch of yellow in those sponges, it needs to be washed out, okay? Okay, so in the chart up here, you have, it's all organized for you. And make sure you utilize your assigned seat number to your job. All right, I'm going to work on collecting your paintings and putting them on the drying rack for you.
Is that one good?
What was that?
Is that good?
They're all fantastic. I love the textures. I love what the bubble wrap did.
Otherwise you're gonna be underneath.
Go right here. Go right here.
Oh, there you go.
You got it? Just slide it in. It's okay if it skips one. Perfect.
Yes.